Hello everyone, this is Ronnie. We're talking more about raw vegan diet and health. Just hiding my baldy head today with this nice hat. Um, so, I think I'm talking about truth in this video. I think that's what I want to talk about. And for me, part of this lifestyle is about the fact that I just think it's the truth. I think it's the reality of human beings on planet Earth. I think it's the best diet. I think that's the truth. I think that fruit is the food that we are biologically evolved, adapted, designed to eat, however you want to put it. I think that eating food raw is healthier, is a better thing than eating cooked food. I think that is a truthful statement. And I just think it's the history, the real truth of humanity, that we have, for millions of years, our ancestors developed on fruit diets. In fact, if you look at the history of primates, it's 55 to 85 million years of primates on planet Earth. That is mind-blowing to try and think about that. And that all that time, potentially, they were eating fruit, mostly. All of that time. That we are a specific animal that was evolved, adapted, designed to live in conditions of like forest-like conditions in the tropics, basically living on fruit. At least that's what our ancestors go back to. And that for human beings to get back to a more harmonious existence, a more healthy existence, a more peaceful existence, that we have to go towards a fruit diet. Go back to that. And I think that that's one of the basic truths in all of our philosophy, ancient religions and stuff like that, that there is this yearning for truth. No, paradise is what I was going to say. This yearning for that truth, which is this paradise that we want to live in, the Garden of Eden. You know, these stories about mythical cultures that lived in paradise and lived in harmony and peace, that's somewhere in our memory. There is something about that. And we came along and we started to eventually kill animals and cook foods and stuff, and it gave us a temporary advantage over other human beings. We are the lineage of human beings that survived. You know, potentially we killed all the other ones that were more peaceful, or that didn't kill and cook animals, that didn't start to cook foods and stuff like that, you know. But we are that lineage. We can't, you know, we have to accept that we are a murderous species, you know. Like, that is in all of us. That territorial, murderous instinct, passion, it's in all of us, right? We've come down that lineage. Our ancestors killed. Every one of us has an ancestor that killed someone with their bare hands, probably, and murdered and raped and tortured and horrible stuff. It's all, the potential for that's all in us. I just think it potentially is bigger if we go down the route of killing animals and eating for food. And but we did that because we didn't have a choice to some degree. And so we have that blood on our hands. At the same time, there's the absolute possibility for a paradise. But it comes back to truth. The truth of human beings, the truth of our instincts, of our nature, the truth of health for us, everything. Everything. You know, it's to me it's so important. Tony Wright talks about the idea that human beings lived on fruit and evolved with the most incredible food that basically over a period of time created a perceptual lens that was so clear for us that we could perceive and understand the reality of life itself, of reality, the truth of consciousness, of reality, that we could actually perceive it all and understand it. And that then that became degraded and disconnected because we ended up eating cooked food and animals, and we destroyed our connection, and that led to a degrading in the brain. Now I don't know if that's 100% true. I've always liked a lot of Tony's stuff. I'm a little bit more skeptical about it now than I used to be, but still the basic idea of you take this incredible food, fruit. Okay, it's not exciting when you eat it. I guess a pizza's more exciting. I get it. But an incredible food that actually does incredible things to your neurochemistry in your brain. Especially these, tropical fruits. And you take that and you pump that through your brain for 1 million, 5 million, 10 million, 20 million, 50 million years. And what happens is the most advanced, intelligent species on the planet manifests. Right? The species that is the manifestation of God on planet Earth, in a sense. The ability to create, the ability to change our environment, the ability to perceive the future, to reflect on the past. To understand the reality of life, and raising to that peak, and then all of that being destroyed, being thrown out of nature, being thrown out of that state of nature, which is not just a state of living in nature and being healthy and eating fruit, but was actually speaking with God. In terms of what the Bible puts it, that we walked through the Garden of Eden and we spoke to God. And that God said, you can eat anything, but don't eat that. Don't eat of that tree, the tree of knowledge. Or whatever it was. Was it even the tree of knowledge? I need to study my Bible. But we ate that, whatever it was, and we were thrown out of the Garden of Eden. That we had to work in the fields for our food, which is literally what happened. That when we move out of a state of nature, or a state where we have all the fruits around us, we have to work in the field. We can no longer climb the trees and look up for our food. We have to look down into the earth for our food. We disconnect our relationship with trees and with the forests. Imagine that. Imagine if all your food came from a massive forest that you lived at. Not necessarily you lived in it, but maybe you lived on the outskirts and you would just go in and get your food and come back out. I don't know if humans would have lived in the centre of forests and stuff. It might have been too dangerous. But we probably went in and out and got food and, ventured in and out. Because we like the sunlight as well. We like the water. I don't know why, but we like all these things. And imagine the relationship and the feeling you have for that forest when it supplies you with all your food. And it's like magical food that just appears over a course of months. It just grows of its own accord, and it's just there for you to consume. Of course, you have to share it maybe with other animals, or you have to keep other animals away maybe, fight for it maybe. Maybe we did. Maybe there was just enough of an abundance that didn't have to happen. But if you just imagine that, what a feeling that would be. That you wake up and you kind of you grow up in this community, and the elders of the community that have the experience and the knowledge and the wisdom, that they say, oh, we're going to travel down here this month, because that's where the whatever the fruit would have been called, that's where that amazing fruit is. So that's going to be growing, probably ripen in a couple of weeks. So we're going to head down there, and you just go on an amazing journey to find this incredible, these incredible trees full of more fruit. And then when that finishes, like, okay, well, after this we go down here, and you follow this amazing community of all your family and friends and all that, and you travel, and you're bipedal, you walk, and you're able to walk through the forest in large groups, and just be an adventure. Imagine what life was for our ancestors if you go that far back, before they started killing animals, before they started using fire. Now, as human beings develop that knowledge of fire, and we get so intelligent, we had all this knowledge for everything, and we went towards cooking foods and lost that trust with nature, lost that connection, and we started to cook our food, and all of a sudden that connection over centuries dies, disappears, it's lost. And now we're forced out of nature, and we have to find our own way. We can't eat our natural diet anymore. It's impossible. So we have to grow our food, and that leads to problems. We have to kill and eat animals, and that leads to problems. And leads to a change in behaviour, a change in mood, a change in feeling, a change in our culture. But somewhere in the back of our mind, we still have this idea that there's a better life for us. There's something better or different that we should be part of, And it's hard to, I don't know, who knows how we would really feel if we went back to that kind of environment. I mean, there'd be fears and worries as well, because there's like predators and other things. But yeah, that would just be incredible, right? Is it just me? Am I the only one that thinks that? So, I mean, I really think with the fruit festivals and stuff like that, that's, to me, it's a taste. And maybe we can create it into an even bigger taste of that. Of an environment that just turns on all your circuits. Just goes, bring! This is how I'm meant to feel. This is how I'm meant to eat. This is the kind of relationships I'm meant to have. This is the support I'm meant to have. This is the fun, the creativity, the shared ideas and wisdom. This is what we're supposed to have. And so I just, I see that as being a truth. And I think that humanity yearns for truth and goes towards truth slowly, but we go towards it. We have biases that stop us from seeing the truth all the time. We have biases of different things, and a lot of people will say, I'm biased about the raw diet or the way I do it or whatever, or fruit or whatever it is, and I'll accept that. I do have biases, but I do think a lot of my biases are the truth, because I do feel like I've pushed myself. Because the thing is, if you think about it like this, my diet is mostly bananas a lot of the time. Bananas are not my favourite food. They kind of are my favourite food in terms of how they make me feel and as a staple, but they're not what I would choose as my ideal number one food. They're not what I would choose. If rice or potatoes or one of those things, or vegan pizza or whatever, made me feel as good as bananas and made me and digested just as good, and there was no side effects, I would always eat those over bananas almost every time. But they don't. And almost no other fruit actually is, for me, is as good as bananas. So I make that choice. But it's not really I don't think it's a bias, because I don't have any addiction to them. I could stop eating them in a second. If you said, we're not going to have bananas for a month, or 2 months or 3 months or 6 months, I'd be like, okay, well, I just need to work out how I'm going to replace those calories. But I wouldn't be worried about not eating bananas. I'd be worried about how am I going to get a consistent supply of enough calories of fruit. That's the only thing I would be concerned about. But in terms of humanity, we have to go towards this truth. We have to start analysing and looking at every situation and understanding people and understanding our motivations and understanding how we function from the position that we are a frugivorous primate that is designed to live in a small group. Not millions of people, not thousands of people, but maybe 100, 150 people. Not a huge amount of people. We're best in smaller groups. Not cities, but that doesn't mean we can't live in cities, of course. But we've got to understand if we've got problems, if human beings are depressed, if people have anxiety and drug addiction, we have to understand that they probably wouldn't be in that scenario if we took that person, we put them right down into their perfect environment. The forest with beautiful lakes and animals and incredible tropical fruits and a community of people around them. Probably wouldn't be drug addicted for very long if they had that, because they'd be so satisfied in every sphere of their their imagination, their brain. But it's very hard to find truth in life. I think it's very hard to find truth in almost any subject, but I say that fruit is the truth, because everything else to me is a delusion or a lie. The idea that cooked foods are made us human or whatever, or these are delusions. Like, these are people that really want to believe that, you know, 1,000,000 years ago human beings were sitting there like frying bacon in a frying pan. Like, this is just ridiculous. I mean, there's signs of people having fire and having controlled use of fire, and yeah, there's all that kind of stuff, but you know, they weren't boiling water till very, very recently. You know, we didn't have the implements, the tools. We can't just reach into a fire and put things in and take it out. Like, how are we doing that? How are we taking things in and out and putting this? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, and all these modern implements that are used, and all the different metals that are used and stuff like yeah, I mean, we could probably, you know, in the last 50,000 years maybe we were doing stuff like that. 40,000 years. It's just that we've got 85 million years worth of evolution before that we kind of need to take account of. So 50,000 years is like 0.01% or something like that. So it's kind of like, yeah, we've been cooking food a bit, but come on now. Has it really made that much of a difference? And for me as a raw foodist, fruit is totally different as a staple carbohydrate to rice, potatoes, pasta and all those things. Totally different relationship completely. So anyway, fruit is the truth. Fruit is the truth, and everything else to me is an addiction, a delusion, a bias, and the fear around fruit, the skepticism around fruit, everything around fruit is because it's not addictive. In my estimation, why aren't people desperate to eat fruit? Because of the health benefits. You know, why aren't people like demanding better fruit? Why aren't people demanding variety of fruit and more fruit and better fruit? It's because they're not addicted to it. And other things are more addicting and exciting in the moment, stimulating. But anyway, thank you for watching. I hope something came out to you about this video that makes sense. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, I'm putting up quite consistently videos about the raw vegan diet. A lot of people are asking for a what I eat in a day video. So I'll put that together pretty soon. And if you want to learn about the Fruit Fest, go to fruitfest.co.uk/registration. If you want to learn about coaching with me or just join my newsletter, it's the same thing anyway. There's a link below. And And that's it really. Just, you know, if you want to learn more about the diet and everything, the best books to learn, the 8-10-10 Diet by Dr. Doug Graham. He's got a bunch of books actually. You might as well check out all his stuff, all his materials. His YouTube. Rick and Karen Dina, they've got a summit coming up, Raw Food Mastery Summit. You should. I think I'm being interviewed for that, so that's pretty nice of them. And I'll probably have a course coming up soon as well. I might do this course. I'm really enjoying the course I'm doing, the Beginner's Guide course, so I'll probably do it again for a second group of people. Still trying to refine it, and it's still in that stage of trying to improve it, refine it, and but it's going really well. I think I'm really enjoying it. So anyway, thank you for watching, everyone. See you in the next video.